Hey guys, this is Unity and today I'm going to do an overview and gameplay of the newly released N.O.V.A 3 Freedom Edition for Android. So this has been released earlier for iOS around 3 months ago, but I think it just recently got released for Android, and it's free, so it's kind of rare that Gameloft releases major free games, but it makes sense because it's pretty much the same game released I think it's 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago or something, for money, and now they're releasing it for free. It's pretty much the same game, everything's pretty much the same. I think there are some differences in the multiplayer, but mostly it's pretty much the same game. Astonishingly, still the graphics looks amazing. The graphics is fantastic. The game plays fine through the campaign, but it does have some lags in some maps in the multiplayer, which gets kind of annoying and infuriating. But mostly it's fine. It's okay. I had to do something, reload and jump, tap that. I hope you could see the game, see the screen. Sometimes my camera makes it blurry, but I hope you could see it properly. So I'm just going to go through, and you could already see the lag. And I'm playing on a Nexus 5, which was released an year ago. It's fairly new, it's not that old, but there is significant lag that you could see in some multiplayer maps, and even in the campaign. But not as bad as the multiplayer maps, which is pretty much almost unplayable. And continuing on with the graphics, even though this was a game that's released 2 years ago on iOS and Android, it has pretty great graphics. You could see that they've drawn, the graphics is pretty much based on Crysis 2, which was released during the time that N.O.V.A 3 was released. Looks Crysis 2-esque, but it also has a touch of Halo to it. So if you're a Halo or Crysis fan, you might actually like the game. Even though this is one of the FPS games released on Android, this is actually one of the best, even though it has lags and has problems with controls. So talking about the controls are similar to any other games released by Gameloft, especially talking about the Modern Combat series. The controls, I don't know if they're customizable. I'll just have a look. So I go to Options, Controls, Customize Interface. So you could drag them around and customize them. And going to Advanced, you have Aim Assist, auto leveling, metric, and all that stuff. I could go through. They're fine. This is pretty much the same game, N.O.V.A 3, that they released before. I'm trying to get focused. Yeah, that's it. I hope. This is pretty much the same game, but it's just for free. And I think this has some ads on them for releasing it free. The controls are the same thing, pretty much the same thing on any FPS on touchscreen devices. They're not that difficult to use, but obviously they're inferior to PC controls or gamepads or so on. But it's not too bad. It's easily controlled. Now I'll give you an example of the lag if I can. Right now, it feels okay. I think it's running at around 30 FPS. But I'll show you in some maps in the multiplayer it gets really laggy and it gets really annoying. It gets so laggy that you can't even play the game properly. An important thing to note is that in multiplayer it doesn't have aim assist, so you have to manually aim, but it does lock onto the target when you use the sight. That's something to note. Let's try joining a multiplayer game to see if I could show you a bit of the lag. So I'm going to go back to the menu. The game's actually quite big. It's 1.6 gigs if I can remember correctly. I mean, it's okay. The usual FPS is now quite big, especially the games that Gameloft releases. I think you need a Gameloft login to play multiplayer. And talking on Gameloft, the games that Gameloft release are really poorly optimized for Android. iOS versions work fine, but the Android releases are really bad. One of the examples I could remember is the Spider-Man game, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was it was really poorly optimized. I don't get how they could release a game like that to the public. I'm sure the updates came out to fix, but I didn't check it out after that. I just uninstalled the game. This is a great map to show you the lag of the game. It lags really heavily in this map. I hope I could show you the lag. See, that is the lag that you encounter. So I'm going to swipe from left to right, and you could tell lag if you can. It's really laggy. I suspect it's running around 15 frames a second, and this changes periodically. So if I'm just standing in the ground, it runs perfectly fine, and obviously you'd think so. But when I'm looking at the sky or the objects, the 3D meshes, it gets really laggy. So I'm just gonna try and go up here, and yet again, this is one of the best games, even with the lag. It's one of the best games on Android. But by the best game, I mean best FPS that you could play online. There are not many other FPS out there. Maybe Modern Combat 4, but this is one of the best FPSs out there. I'm wondering if you could see the lag. It's really visible right now, and obviously unplayable. I think there are enemies in there, so I'm just gonna have a look in there. And there's another map as well. The whole map is really laggy. I think maybe because they might have improved some of the factors compared to the N.O.V.A 3 version they released 2 years ago. That might be one of the reasons, but iOS version runs really well. I've seen videos on YouTube and they work fine, but it's just the Android on the Nexus 5, and you'd expect the Nexus 5 to run it pretty well because it's a fairly new phone. It has a Snapdragon 800, but it actually runs very poorly. I don't. If you could see the lag, it's good, but it's really lagging right now. I don't know if you could see it in the video, but it lags really horrendously. But guys, if you're into... Oh, okay. Something happened. But guys, if you're into FPSs, and if you really want to COD or Halo online experience, then I don't think I could recommend any other game than this. This is pretty much the only game out there that could suit your needs. So do check it out. It is a free game. It might work well on your phone. I have no idea, but do check it out. If you have an iOS device, then definitely go for it. I'm sure it works fine on iOS, because Gameloft has this thing of optimizing the games for iOS and not doing that for Android. But do check it out. I hope it works fine on your phone or any other device. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in another video.